Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are out there in the world. It's time for another episode of the SoundTraxx Soundbites podcast. This is our train talk from milepost 141 here in beautiful Durango, Colorado. This past few weeks has been, really beautiful weather. I mean, it's not too hot. We're getting nice, warm afternoon sunshine.
Yep.
That's beautiful.
Nice and cool at night. Good sleeping weather, too.
Exactly. Get that hibernation feel.
Yes, absolutely.
So, wanted to say, we're a little behind on getting some of these out. I will say that I've been called away due to some family issues, and I'm back, and so that's what led to the delay a little bit. So, everything's fine. We are back here, and we're back and rolling and ready to go. So, without any further ado, let's go ahead and jump right into it. So, first off, you may notice there's some stuff here on the table. Now, we've talked about our caps before. These are the SoundTraxx Durango, Colorado caps, established 1990, part of our 35th anniversary special. You can get yours at SoundTraxx.com, and they're a unibrow, or not a unibrow, a uni-size. That's the word I was looking for. Where'd that come from? Holy crap.
Yeah.
But you can adjust the size. It fits anyone, including my big mug over here.
Yeah.
And
maybe might even fit this Easter Island monument right here.
I was going to say that's.
I don't know. I mean, it's going to be a stretch, but
yeah,
we
should be able to get that.
Yeah.
And then the other thing, this is a brand new drop for November. We've got our Christmas ornaments. Man, Christmas is around the corner.
It is.
And I don't know if you've been to the store lately, but man, they've got stuff all over the place. Christmas.
It's a madhouse. I mean, Walmart and Cortez is reorganizing everything.
Oh, it's crazy
already.
Yeah, and we ain't even anywhere near Thanksgiving yet.
No, not even close.
And it's crazy. I've been getting Black Friday stuff in my inbox in the last week of October, right before Train Fest. It's insane
already. And maybe eventually they're going to bypass Thanksgiving at some point and not even mention it. Hopefully we'll still get to keep it as a holiday though.
Let's hope so. But anyway, you can get your own ornament on our website, SoundTraxx.com. Be sure to check those out. These are really cool and they really stand out. Nice, pretty little star. Get a few of them and really add some symmetry to the layout to your Christmas tree, so it looks great.
Yeah, and if you leave your tree up all year long and leave your SoundTraxx ornament on it, no judgment. I mean, I'm planning on doing that. So
yeah. Well, being bachelor again,
right?
You have that prerogative. Leave your tree up all.
Well, I got 6 cats there at home. I can imagine what they would love those
their
ornaments.
Cat toys.
Yeah, they would love that. Get to sitting there watching TV, get this impression that somebody's watching you. Look at the Christmas tree, and there's a little calico looking at you inside the tree.
Yeah,
I'm like, uh-oh.
It's a good thing it's not a squirrel.
Right. Well, she puts her ears down. She looks like a mean bunny rabbit. So.
There you go. Well, you get the squirrel reference going to Christmas Vacation.
Right. That's
'Tis
right.
the season, so I mean, may as well get that. May as well get that out.
Where's Eddie? He usually eats these things.
Exactly. So anyway, not too long ago, we actually just got back from Train Fest, and this was your first time as working this show. So I'm curious to see what your thoughts were.
I loved talking to people. It was great working with George, and then Nancy went with us, boss. It was nice to have an idea about what SoundTraxx does as an exhibitor and working the show as an exhibitor versus even a table, or in this case, since it was a big show, I was only just a patron. So it's totally different on the other side of the aisle, so to speak, but it's still equally as enjoyable. The displays were great. This was my first time at the Baird Center, which was a beautiful new facility. I usually went to Train Fest when it was out at West Allis at the old fairgrounds out there, which it had its own charm and its own way. But I do like the way they had it set up, and like the layouts were just phenomenal as always. Like I said, vendors, and then the people were just fantastic.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite shows to do. Where there's certainly no downtime.
Right.
I mean, we were busy. A lot of people turning around looking at Blunamis. I mean, as more and more people realize the benefits of Blunami, I'm telling you, we're seeing a lot of excitement.
We had our 1100 there too in a B&O Malley steam engine, and man, it stole the show. I mean, young kids, old kids.
Yeah.
People my age were looking at it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it was like, and then it got a lot of runtime, and then George had a BLI engine up on the rollers, and that got a lot of, because the tremendous sound and stuff that was coming out of it, people would walk by.
That it was upgraded.
Yeah, it was.
Of course, it was upgraded to SoundTraxx. Let's make sure.
That's right. It was.
That.
It was upgraded to SoundTraxx, and that was what I was telling people. Like, we just did a video on this, and this is the one George brought to the show.
Yeah, that's right. That's the one you can see on our YouTube video where
Correct.
we do the installation, show you what it takes, and then also did a video showing some of the adjustments that you can make to select the sounds for it.
There were a couple of guys there from Kenosha that were asking about that, and I said, yeah, it's on the, and they pulled the video up there watching George put do the upgrade on it, and I said, and there it is in the flesh.
Yep, there you go.
In all her glory.
Yep. I tell you what, in the end, as you know now, doing the show is a lot of work.
It is.
It's a lot of, late nights especially. You got a lot of work. You're carrying around boxes and trying to get everything set up, and it needs to be just perfect because once it happens, you're not going to have time to play around with it.
No, everything has to be where it needs to be, and so that was great to have George and have the boss there to pretty much show me the ropes and what I expect and how we set the things up, and it is work.
Yeah,
you're on your feet the whole day, so I mean, Tylenol was my friend, so I was very happy to have Tylenol. Other than that, except when you're talking to people, you don't really notice that kind of stuff because you're kind of in the moment and you're engaging with modelers, and it's just the fellowship of the hobby is what really gets does a lot for me.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
I love to talk to people, so.
And it's a lot of fun. But like you mentioned, when you notice it is when you're heading back to the hotel, and because where the Baird Center was versus the hotel, we were walking. And you walk back to there after standing on your feet all day long and then taking the booth down. You're like every step, ow, ow,
yes.
ow, ow.
Yeah, so like Sunday night, George and Boss, they were very gracious hosts, and they treated me great. They took me out to eat, everything. But Sunday night, I'm like, they said, "Hey, you sure you don't want to?" I think I'm gonna go back to the room and collapse. Is what I went to sleep like early that night. I mean,
but you got to tell the truth. What were you doing?
I was,
or at least let's put it this way. What was the excuse you told me?
I was going to read a book.
No, you were going to work on your layout plans.
Well, I did work on my layout plans for about 5 minutes.
Oh, okay.
I read it's a Lance Minheim book I brought with me to read and get a lot of.
Okay.
And then I did take some photos at the show of the Batavia Club's layout, and I realized that was rebuilt in 2010. I saw Kelly Duford there, and Kelly told me that they had rebuilt the original because I was looking for one of the original modules they had of a laundromat in Lockport, Illinois. It was just perfect. But he said they'd rebuild it anyway. I got some ideas from underneath his layout and a couple other modular layouts, along with George's layout, to kind of mesh all that together. So yeah, I did. But yeah, when I got back Sunday night, I was reading the book for like 5 minutes and I was gone.
Oh, gotcha. All right.
That was the plan.
All right. Well, overall, it was a good show. Thanks to everybody that came out and saw us.
Yeah.
Hopefully you enjoyed yourself. I know Tom did. I always do. And so looking forward to seeing you guys next year up in Milwaukee.
They even had a Ben and Jerry's truck there inside the building.
Yeah, they did.
The ice cream.
Yeah. I don't think we ever got to it, though.
No, we were too busy.
We were too busy. Didn't get away from it. So, Well, today, in the next section here is what we usually talk about, projects that we've got. And there's no big shock that in front of you we've got a Missouri Pacific GP15.
Right.
So
what else? What other locomotives are there? Oh wait, there are other locomotives.
Yeah,
I've
got something else. We'll talk about mine in just a second.
Yeah, I mean this is Athearn Genesis latest run Missouri Pacific GP15-1. This is a unique engine, and thanks to Athearn, shout out to them for doing this. I never thought I'd ever see a factory painted engine in this paint scheme, because if you look closely at the cab, it says C&EI underneath the cab window there. These last GP15s right here, these 1570 to 1574, or the last 5 rather, I should say, engines that the C&EI purchased. So when they came from EMD, they came with C&EI sublettering underneath the cab instead of the usual Mopac, hyphenated Mopac on there. And Athearn just nailed the engine as usual.
Yep.
There were some improvements made, of course, with, as always, every time they upgrade a model, it's noticeable. It has the front and rear number boards. It has the front and rear class lights are lit on it. And then I added the George touch to it. We put the truck lights underneath there, and this time I did a little bit different. I drilled a 3/32 hole and put I want to say 0.95 styrene tube in it.
Oh, okay.
That acts as a conduit, and the reason I use the 3/32 is because sometimes this stuff is hard to drill through with these small bits.
Yeah.
So I used a bigger bit and then put the styrene tubing in there, acts as a conduit, and then run my wire up in there. So if you want to run magnet wire up in there, you can with the plastic in there because it's not going to touch the metal.
Yeah.
In case the paint or the insulation falls off of it.
Right.
But nonetheless, it's basically that. Has a standard Blunami 21-pin, NEM8. It has a Decoder Buddy V5 with the little subboard with all the lights on there, and it also has SoundTraxx 810154 up front.
The cube speakers.
Cube speaker with the enclosure sitting on top of that little thing that goes over the
yeah.
flywheel like usual, and then it has a Scale Sound Systems in the back because it's 1.5 watts, it's 8 ohms, but this is a 2-watt amplifier, so the SoundTraxx not only sounds great, it gives me an additional watt of protection there, so to speak, and sound fidelity, and the thing sounds just fantastic. So, and it's dialed in George style too. It's got the momentum, it's got the brakes, so it's George approved for hopefully for George's layout, and it's a different road number because if you notice one other thing on here, it's 1571. Like I said, they had 5 of these. Well, Athearn did 1572 as the factory release. What I did is I did the Chris Palomares Solvaset trick.
Oh, okay.
We did. This is something when Chris was at Athearn. There's video on it. You take Solvaset and a paper towel and you cut it to width of like the 2 on the 1572 there, and you lay that over there, and then basically lift it. Let it soak in, let it dry, and then I use packing tape and just peel it right off.
Oh,
and
yeah.
then put a 1 on there, and then of course change the number boards too.
Right.
So.
Yeah, I was going to say, you're showing off all this stuff, and you haven't yet talked about the fact that you renumbered it.
Yeah, it was a quick, easy renumber. A lot of the Athearn engines are real easy like that to renumber. And like I said, that Chris had that when he was at Athearn. He used to. There's a video, and it's still online, I believe. And they did it. I think it was him and Tom Baccarella. I think did the video.
Okay.
But they did the video, and it was a box car. I think a Railbox box car. They did it on. So that's where I learned it from.
Gotcha.
And it works like a charm. It took a little bit extra time because there's a nice clear coat they put on it, flat coat, and so it took a little bit extra time. So you got to take your time, but it came right off. And then you got another engine.
Yep, it looks beautiful. So that's a great way you can add to your fleet without having to wait for them to make another release.
Right, absolutely. I mean, the new GP15 ACs that are coming with SoundTraxx Tsunami 2, by the way, factory installed. There is an unnumbered version coming this time, so you will have the ability to have 2 numbered engines and as many as the GP15 ACs you want. So I think they were thinking of me probably a little bit because Mopac had 30 of those, so I could have the entire fleet of 30 now, which is possible.
Exactly.
I mean, maybe.
Well, they did a previous run with a couple of either 2 or 3 numbers in the AC series in the blue.
Right.
And the AC series are too new for me on my layout modeling 1978, but I have one anyway because they're just too cool.
Right.
But I haven't done anything to it. It's literally sitting up on a shelf on a display shelf just to look at.
Never met a Jeep 15 AC I didn't like.
There you go. Well, today I also brought something. Now, I think this is something I brought out here for this particular show before. This is a D&RGW Rio Grande Jeep 30 with the small herald on it rather than the big herald on it. Number 3018. This is a ScaleTrains model that I fixed.
It's upgraded.
It's been upgraded. And part of the reason is as I mentioned, I haven't been around the house a lot, so I haven't done a whole lot of projects. But the reason I brought this one back was because I did get sidetracked a little bit. I had a friend of mine. I was at the Greeley RPM, the Colorado RPM, which will be held in October in 2026. So be sure y'all sign up for that because that'll be a great show next year. I'm on the committee, by the way, so
I'm going to make this show.
Yeah, so. There you go. But anyway, I ran into a friend there, and he comes over to me, and he's telling me, he's like, George, I still haven't done these Jeep 30s yet, because he's got 3 of them that he needed to convert. And I said, all right, John, I'm tired of this. You've been telling me you need to convert these things for 2 years. Send them to me. I'm going to make you the deal of a lifetime, because I'm tired of hearing you talking about it.
Right.
Now, I did those installations for him, sent him back. He's happy with them. Everything's good. But the reason I decided to bring this out is when I do the installation for me, the ScaleTrains models, as many of you guys may or may not know, when it comes to the lighting on it, first off, part of the reason you have to spend a lot of time on it is because they've hidden a lot of these lights behind a secondary processor under the guise of being standard.
Right.
And the reason I want to bring this out is because they're, telling people, well, I guess other companies just can't light up the lights. And so when I did these installations for my friend, I actually went through and wired them up exactly the same way, and I still didn't run out of lights.
Right.
So my model's done differently, and I'll talk about that in a second. But from the factory, of course, the headlight and backup light, that's 2.
Right.
You have the Mars light on the nose, that's 3.
Right.
Then you have the number boards, which front and rear on the ScaleTrains models are wired together.
Right.
That's 4.
Right.
Now we have red, green, and clear class lights.
Right.
That's 7, 8, or 5, 6, and 7.
Right.
And then you had all the walkway courtesy lights all the way around.
That's
you have
8.
the one on the nose, one on the back, and then 2 on each side of the long hood, and that's 8. Right. And those are all wired together. The truck wires, I don't know if you knew this or not, but they're wired into the ground or the courtesy lights also.
Right.
Which technically in the real world wouldn't be done that way.
Right.
But on the ScaleTrains model, they were all wired together.
Right.
So this whole guise, ruse, whatever you want to call it, of saying, oh, well, I guess these other companies don't have enough lights, is just a way to try to get you to purchase the other brand decoder.
Right.
Because they're saying, oh, well,
Never mind
you
the
don't have
fact-
enough lights. Well, we actually do.
Never mind the fact that the non-Stalin ones, the DC ready ones, or the DCC ready ones, come with the same style processor on the board. So when you try to plug in our decoder, it won't work.
Yeah, and that was what was interesting when I bought this one. I put the decoder in, and this Mars light, which is one of those lights you would expect to have as one of the common lights.
Right.
Like I could get it. Okay.
It's a prominent feature of the model.
Yeah, it's a prominent feature of the model.
real
Like I could
brand.
get it if you wanted to hide the red and the green class lights,
Right,
whatever,
you don't need those
behind
anyway,
it.
because by 1970s, I mean, they weren't using them anyway.
Correct. And so, but I don't like it. And the problem is that nobody in the NMRA is doing anything about it.
Right.
So unfortunately for you SoundTraxx users, us, we have to go in and gut the model and rewire everything hard. Now, when I did mine, as you mentioned, 1978 is what I tried to model.
Right.
And in 1978, there were no scheduled trains. Everything was an extra.
Right, so no green.
So green, let us know in the comments if you know what a green class light means. We've talked about it before on this podcast. We've done some videos on our YouTube channel. Just let us know in the comments if you're thinking about it.
I'm not
Yeah, you learned your lesson.
Yeah.
Giving away the answer before. And then there was red class lights. And so in 1978, they didn't use them.
Right.
Especially because the red class lights would have indicated the rear of a train,
Right.
which meant they were shoving on a caboose.
Correct.
And in those days, that was still when they had some wood cabooses, some steel cabooses.
Yeah.
So they would cut the power in front of the caboose. The caboose would display the red light, so there's no reason to have it on the locomotive.
And I think the only one that would be an exception maybe would be Conrail.
Conrail was the
maybe.
one
And
that
they
did
had these gigantic frog eye looking things.
Right. Correct.
For their class
and so, but they didn't use the white ones, I don't think.
No, they didn't. They were just for the reds.
They were just for the reds.
Yeah.
So when I'm doing this model, when I did mine, I took those extra light wires, and instead of having all my number boards wired together and the front and rear class lights wired together,
Separate.
I went more like the real locomotives where they're separated.
Correct.
And then I also separated the courtesy lights from the truck lights
Right.
or the ground lights.
Right.
And for those of you guys who don't know, the ground lights are primarily used so the engineer can look down at the ground and actually see the ground moving below them. Because if they're in the dark, in some of these real remote areas, they throttle up, that engine gets loud and it gets going.
Right.
They can't tell if a tree's moving in the dark in the distance.
Right. They can look out the window and see.
Correct.
Yep.
Now they can look out the window, look straight down, make sure they're going.
Right.
So that wouldn't necessarily be illuminated with the courtesy lights.
Right.
So, but that's how they had it wired. And so this whole ruse of needing more lights is really kind of just a way to get you to have to force you into or nudge you into another brand decoder.
And plus, if you could turn the courtesy lights off, the engineer might be able to do that anyway to look down, just so he'd have only the truck lights lit, so
Right.
he could see himself moving. If
So-
there's nobody on the engine.
So I'm going to go ahead and light up all the fronts on mine, since that's where the second camera's at. And I've got my courtesy lights, my class lights, and my Mars light. But anyway, all these lights are on the model. They're wired up the way I want them to, and I don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, and you got your brightness dialed in.
And the brightness is dialed in.
Perfect.
Weathered up, everything. It looks great.
It's beautiful.
Sounds beautiful.
This could be a scene from Pueblo here, in the old days. In the 70s, in 78.
There you go. So all of this stuff is stuff that you can do. The one thing I'll say about the ScaleTrains models is they make good models. They're beautifully detailed.
They are.
But what's interesting, and I think I showed you this, if you put that ScaleTrains model next to one of the old Proto 2000, you have a hard time determining which is which because you know it.
It's an excellent model in its own right, and it holds up well to today's standards.
Absolutely, which shocked me. And so I've got 2 of the Santa Fe units in the Proto 2000, and I've got 2 of the older Proto Grande units too that I got upgrades at some point.
It's cool too that we got the Jeep 30 here also, because the C&EI had 4 Jeep 30s, and unfortunately for Mopac modelers, they only lasted for a little bit of time. They were past the merger in '67, I think, and they just got a buzzsaw. They kept the classic black and white striped scheme with the little red buzzsaw that said C&EI, but they went to the L&N. I can only imagine what they would look like, because the lines of that locomotive are just so beautiful.
They are neat.
Yeah, and just a Jinx Blue one with C&EI would be like, man, that'd be awesome.
But that would be cool.
Yeah.
But in the C&EI ones, weren't they? They still had the blue stripes or the dark striping.
They had the white stripe down the side. They were black, and they had the white, like catfish-looking stripes around the front and around the end. The classic, and then the C&EI oval was painted out, and they put a buzzsaw on there, a red buzzsaw that said C&EI.
Gotcha. Okay.
And they ran them for a little bit till the L&N took control of the eastern part of the C&EI. Then the L&N got all the Phase 2 Jeep 35s, and the 4 Jeep 30s all went to the L&N.
Okay, that's right. I do remember that.
Yeah, it was part of the split.
Okay.
Because originally when they bought them, it's a Mopac history lesson, imagine that. But when they bought them, they originally got the whole thing. They had to sell that. To get the merger to go through, they had to give the eastern part, or sell the eastern part to the L&N.
Okay.
To get it to go through, and then they shared track it from Woodland Junction to Chicago.
Okay.
Where they came together.
There you go. Well, those models look great, and you just need to touch up a little bit of the weathering on that, and then you can bring it over anytime.
It needs. Well, it doesn't look like it's worked yet. It still looks like it's brand new, right out of LaGrange.
Oh wow. Yep. Well, with that, we've got our projects we talked about, and I showed you some of the pictures showing that Jeep 30 that's wired up. So the next topic we wanted to talk about is when it comes to using the decoders. You can use the decoders to kind of set up your layout, and but doing this, one of the things as coming over to mine, I have a lot of momentum in my models.
Yep.
My locomotives take quite a bit of time to come to a stop, and what that does, it allows me to coast my locomotives, and the prime mover drops to idle, and then I can use the brakes to bring my train to a stop faster when I need it.
Right.
Whether I'm independent or tied into a train, I can do all of that through the with the decoders. Whether you're using Tsunami 2s or Economies, true, or even the Blunamis. And what it does is, like, let's say for example, and you've been over to my place, and you guys have seen some of the videos of my layout. If you haven't, you can go to my personal YouTube channel, Goalie George, and take a look.
Right.
Got some operation videos up there and some tours. But when I'm doing the operations, I have a fairly small layout by most big layout standards.
Well, it's actually it operates like a large layout.
Operates very well. It's just under 70 linear feet long, not counting the staging yard.
Right.
And the problem is when you have a small layout like that, you're bringing 4, 5, let's say 6 cars to the industrial area. Mm-hmm. Well, without any momentum, braking, you start, stop, hurry up, switch everything out.
You'd be done in no time.
You'd be done quickly.
Yeah.
And so therefore our layout feels smaller.
Right.
But if you add some momentum and add some braking and use the decoder to its fullest, now those small layouts like mine, and probably yours will be at least short term until you get a permanent place.
Right.
Don't feel quite as small.
Right. Well, and I've rethought that. I'm not going to expand too much on that, but I've rethought my idea based on your layout too. I like that it's more than enough layout for anybody to operate. It just 3 hours went by like that.
Yeah.
Running trains like you're saying, the other thing is you get to use the decoder the way it was designed to be used, with setup like George sets his up, and this one's set up the same way with momentum, braking, all that set, is because you can hear the motor rev up and throttle down. You get to use the dynamic digital exhaust under load. All that operates really well. Like you can set it up Mopac style. They used to like to lock the brakes down in my hometown of West Frankfort, switch in the yard, rev them things up, and then cut them loose, and then they just take off nice and slow and easy, and then a nice soft coupling, and then power brake it back, and then stretch your train out.
Because let's go ahead and start mine to back up here.
Okay.
And we're going to go ahead and set the brakes. And once he gets fired up, we'll kind of show that off, kind of how that brake set.
Right.
But remember, the Missouri Pacific also used power braking, especially when they had the large trains.
Right.
And so what they would do is they would throw the engines into 8.
Right.
And then set the automatic. And what that would do is then essentially that would keep the couplers tight through the braking as they're bringing to a stop.
Right.
And as the locomotives pulled against the cars basically drug the locomotives to a stop as they're working to keep it stretched.
A nice, easy stop for Conductor Kevin back in the caboose.
Yeah, and that's the joke I always tell everybody is that it keeps the grade detector, which is, the guy in the caboose kind of riding back and forth, and he's kind of dozing off, and when they're going uphill, he's leaning back in the chair, and when they're going forward or downhill, he's leaning forward in the chair.
You could just see old Kevin pick up the hoghead, you know what you're doing or not,
But keeping those couplers tight keeps that slack from bouncing in and out, causing that car to rock back and forth really heavily. So
they were pros at it too.
Yeah.
They were good at it.
The cool thing is you can do that with
our
decoders because we have a straight to 8.
Right.
And then when you set the automatic, so the engines will notch up to 8, and then you set the brakes, you bring the throttle down, you can feather the brake on and off, kind of bring yourself to a stop. Once you come to a stop and you set it down, then you turn off the straight to 8, your engines will notch down, and you're stopped, and it's realistic.
And it's Mopac.
It's Mopac. There you go. But here's how, doing just the throttle. So right now, I know I have it turned down quite a bit, so hopefully you guys can hear it, but it's sitting still. The idling is just there. So when I crank it up here, I'm going to go ahead and increase it to say speed step 6 or 7. Let's go. You hear it throttling up, and then we release the brakes, and then the locomotive starts to move gently to simulate, getting a load under that locomotive as it's trying to work against that freight.
Moves realistically too, like that.
Yeah, and you see I didn't move very far or very fast.
No.
And the thing is a lot of people tend to be a little bit afraid of trying out momentum. Start with low values.
Right.
Start with some low values.
45 and 75, I think, is what for CV3 and 4 is what's in our manual.
Yep.
That's what we said. They says to start there, and I would suggest that you follow the manual. And like George said, I would do that. That's what I did. Just experimented because I didn't just run home and go, I want to do. But I've started gradually as I've gotten better with mine. I've started to increase that.
Right. And so what it does is, like I said, once you start adding braking momentum into it, now when you're doing your switching, you're doing your spotting of the cars, your industries, stuff like that. And here's another tip that I talk about when I do operations clinics is that you can use scale figures. What I do is I've got some scale figures where my scenery at home is all foam based.
Right.
The track's on the foam, the layout, everything. So what I did was in the foot of one of some figures, I drilled a hole, put the end of a straight pin.
Right.
So I can just stab Conductor Kevin wherever I need him to be for operations. And then, so when you're paying attention to where the people are of railroading, now you're not flying, 20 feet ahead, throwing turnouts to go into a yard. Well, who threw the turnout? Superman or the Flash? Did he get off the locomotive and run down there and throw the switches?
Use the Jedi mind trick to do it.
Yeah, there you go. But so the idea is that if you experiment and try out some of the features of the decoder, not only will you get a better experience and be able to feel like your locomotive or your layout's much larger than it actually is, because when you're in that area working, you're working the area. You're not just rushing through and trying to hurry up and get done.
And take it from me, placing those people out there adds to the enjoyment, but it also adds to the operating session. And like I said, 3 hours went by and I ran 3 trains, but I mean, it was nice to place my brakeman where I needed him and my my flagger for the up there
the
by
flagman.
the interchange, the Katy interchange, I believe.
Well, flagman protecting the rear of the train from oncoming traffic.
Right.
So when you were working in the older industrial area,
Right.
I'll call it, versus the new one that I expanded when I moved into the new house.
Right.
When I was leaving the yard, I had to pay attention to your flagman, which meant I had to stop, make sure you were clear, so I could pass you on the track.
Right.
Because he's saying, hey, there's probably obstruction.
Right. He's letting you know, and to have that guy placed there with, like you said, with the foam, it to me added to it.
Yeah.
And throwing the switches, having the guy, throw the put him there, and then throw the switch, then move your engines, then throw the switch, again. I mean, it made a big difference.
So ultimately, we want to encourage you to try things out. If you get stuck or need some help, give Tom or I a call here at the office. We're happy to help. We answer our phones, and we do want to make sure we're here to help you. So give us a call. Let us know if you have any questions, thoughts, comments, want some beginner values, stuff like that. I mean, I know there's examples in our user's guide, but you can always give out some examples. Like when I tell people my deceleration on my locomotive is 225, boy, you should see the look on their face.
Yeah.
You what? Because they can't fathom a locomotive running that far. But as you saw right here, I wasn't going very fast, and I was able to stop well before I got to your engine, even after throttling up.
Right, because, that and you use the brake. You got your brake set up, too.
I do.
And you got it dialed in like that. I mean, you can, it's just an amazing array of momentum and functions, that you got right there.
Yeah. And I mean, we paid for the decoder. We wanted to have all the sounds, all the features in there.
Yeah.
But then what happens is a lot of people tend to be nervous to try the features out. It's like, well, one of the stories I tell sometimes when I do a clinic, and there's a movie years ago called Mystery Alaska. And it was a bunch of ragtag hockey guys up in Alaska, and they managed to score this exhibition game with the New York Hockey Rangers. That part's irrelevant.
Right.
But what was relevant was Burt Reynolds was a coach, and he's walking through the town square where the kids are all there, because this town is obsessed with hockey, and they're playing hockey, and they're swatting at the puck, but he can't hit the puck because he's hitting it in such a way that just the heel of the stick is on the ice, and he's missing the puck because the blade is up in the air.
Right.
So coach comes over and grabs him and teaches him, here, hold your stick this way. You paid for the whole stick, you may as well use it.
Right.
Well, in this case, you're trying to come out and you want the best decoders that are out there. You want the most features, the most realistic experience. You want to have all the, pun intended, bells and whistles that you can have to make your models run the way that you remember seeing them when you're modeling a particular era in your life.
Right.
But then if you're afraid to try some of that stuff out, experiment. If you don't like it, fine. You don't have to have it.
Right.
But if you experiment with it, you may find that's the coolest thing in the world. Because for me, I can't hardly operate without brakes anymore. It feels like I'm missing something.
Right. It's like you're just going roundy round.
Yeah. And to be honest with you, this was something, I'll tell you, that was something I wanted long before I donned the purple shirt. And this is because if you go back and you remember this, you remember the old Tech 2 power packs?
Yes.
What did they have on the 1500?
They had the pulse power and they had a pump action brake.
There you go. They had the pump action brake where it was a momentary button.
I had one.
I had one too, and I used that all the time. And then when decoders came out, we didn't have that functionality. But then when the SoundTraxx decoders came out and added the functionality to it, man, I'm telling you, that sold me on DCC and SoundTraxx. And I used to be accused of being on the payroll at SoundTraxx back in my days in the train club.
Yeah, and look how that turned out.
So,
but yeah, seriously, I know what you're saying. Exactly the same thing. It's just, that's one of the things we don't really talk about as much because the sound is so robust and 16-bit and that 2-watt amplifier just unbelievable. But the motor control on it is second to none. The motor control on these decoders is second to none.
Yep.
And a lot of people don't know that because they don't, like George is saying, they don't kick all the tires on it. They only kick one of the four.
Yeah.
And you gotta try it out.
Yep. Now, the other thing is, let's say for argument's sake, you like momentum, but you're still nervous about when it comes to spotting industries, stuff like that. Don't forget there's still switching mode.
Right.
Function 14 takes your commanded speed step, cuts it into half, and then also bypasses the momentum.
Right.
Now, I'll tell you a little secret. Not on my layout. I disabled the momentum part because you can't override real-world physics. But by default, there's two aspects of function 14, half speed and overriding momentum. So if you're afraid that you're not going to stop in time, you can always turn on that function 14, bring your throttle to stop, and your engine and train will instantly stop.
And you'll still you'll switch at a relatively slow speed. So, realistically.
Correct.
And if that's good for you, then great.
Right. And you talked about it. We've talked about, superior motor control. I can make my model move at speed step 1/2 of 128.
Yep.
So it's pretty impressive. It takes a long time to go between ties. So it's really exciting. Try it out.
Yeah, and when you mute if you want to mute your engine, like if I, and on the throttle this thing up, guess what? The motor doesn't hum. It's just nice and quiet as it starts to move.
Yep, absolutely. So basically what we're saying is, if you have a small layout, use the decoders to their fullest. It'll help your small layouts feel a little bigger and also help make it more fun. I mean, because we don't want to rush through and hurry up and get done running trains.
Right.
We want to enjoy the time, and this is a great way to do it, especially in small layout conditions. But even in a large layout, you still can use the same things.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the thing is either or is good. I mean, to me, it makes no sense. Like George, I echo what you're saying, George. Is you put all the lights and stuff on it, use them. Don't just turn them on and lash them up elephant style and turn them loose. I mean, use that stuff. If you're running this way, you're an extra. Then your class lights are on the nose. On the back, they're not on because you're not running long hood forward.
Correct. And I remember just talking to Kevin about it because I was asking him, would they put the class lights on the front and the rear of the locomotive? Because that way, in case for whatever reason, let's say I was passing you and I'm supposed to wait for extra 3018.
Right.
And I pass you and you were, I don't know, let's say you were on the nose getting rid of that Taco Bell and you hear this train coming up, and by the time you get up, the train's past you, so you didn't get to see the front of it. I asked him, I said, what about the rear? He said, well, that's too bad that you missed it.
Right.
Because you wouldn't have turned on the rear class lights.
Right.
So that's why I wire mine up separately the way it is, because that way you have that independent control. So
and Athearn did this for me as far as a separate. So all I do is put my decoder in there and set it up the way I want.
Yep,
exactly. They made it easy for me. I didn't have to drill these out. So
yep, exactly. Well, as we have alluded to here on the table, we've got our holiday ornament that you can purchase at SoundTraxx.com. But of course, that means we've got the holidays coming up.
Right.
And so with this podcast, wanted to remind you folks that SoundTraxx will be closed the day of Thanksgiving, which is November 27th, the greatest day in the world.
Right. That's your birthday.
That is my birthday. So the whole world's going to be, or the whole United States going to be closed for my birthday.
Yeah.
Celebrate George.
You couldn't beat that. There's just no way anybody can top that.
Yep. I'm turning 29 for the 30th time.
There you go.
I don't think that's right. How many times would that be? It'd be 20th time.
Yeah, 20th.
Something like that. Anyway.
30's more my age.
So we're going to be closed on that Thanksgiving Day, the American Thanksgiving, November 27th, and then, of course, the following Friday, the 28th, we will be closed. But be sure to check out the website. We may have some specials, Black Friday specials that you may want to take advantage of.
Yeah, we'll be closed, but the website's open 24/7.
The website's open, and we'll ship on Monday as soon as we get back the following week. So with that, any other thoughts, comments that you want to close out with?
Really enjoyed the Train Fest. Enjoyed everybody came out to see us up there and the participation in our raffle.
Yep.
And look forward to next year. And I want to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving and holiday season.
Yep. Same to everybody else out there. Have a great Thanksgiving. Have a great George's birthday.
Yes. Celebrate George's birthday with the rest of the United States.
Have a piece of pumpkin pie for me. Anyway, that's it for that. I think we're going to go ahead and close it out. I think we're getting a little punchy here before we go a little off track here.
Yes.
So we are closing out SoundTraxx Soundbites podcast. This is the Train Talk from Outpost 141. This is episode 32, which is season 2, episode 19. Still, we're having fun and hope you guys are enjoying watching it. Be sure you subscribe to our YouTube channels and leave us some comments below. Let us know your thoughts. If there's something you want us to cover, like we were talking about here with momentum braking and using the decoders to the fullest on your layouts, let us know if there's something you'd like us to cover, and we certainly will add it into the mix.
Yep. And we thank you all and thank you for your support of SoundTraxx products.
Yep. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see y'all next time.